Oh man, I thought that ding, the first one meant that it was live already. That was crazy. Hey, welcome to an Atomic Trivia War 9000 Bunker Talk, where we're going to dispense with the trivia just for tonight. Don't worry. And talk about Avengers Age of Ultron. I'm Jason Hawk. With me is Rochelle Mantanona.
What is up?
Well, this movie is up and down and up and down. Let me start off, though, before we get to anything about that, by saying that I'm freaking dumb. And here's why. I mean, I know that this is a tenet that you subscribe to largely every week, right? Because of scheduling, this Bunker Talk is actually going to get released before the next trivia episode, the one where we talk about what we expect from Age of Ultron and what we're looking forward to with the movie.
I thought we released that already.
No, we released the Star Wars one because it was close to May the 4th. But we've got that other one. It's almost finished being done edited. But I want to get the Age of Ultron episode out. I want to talk about this and have it up on the internet.
That's funny because I thought that you released it. I was like, okay, so they'll understand what we thought about this movie, and then we're going to release the Bunker Talk to show that. Oh, okay. At least I remember what I said in the previous episode. I thought what my expectations were in this movie. So
right. So I think that things are going to be a little bit reversed for listeners. That's fine. You know what? That's fine. But I'm freaking dumb. You're going to get the review before the preview, is what I'm saying. Things happen. Oh, also, before we even talk about capes and underwear on the outside or anything like that, I want to talk about the trailers. I'm not sure what trailers you saw prior to the movie.
They were all older trailers. Okay, the only new trailer I saw was the new Ant-Man, but they showed the original Star Wars teaser, the original Fantastic Four. Was that new one, Jeremy?
The new one was Ant-Man.
Okay, yeah, the older Fantastic Four one, and the Jurassic Park, the older one, and I think those are the only ones. I can't remember, but I wanted to see the new Star Wars one. I was so disappointed.
I didn't get to see that one either. But what I did notice from these pre-game ads, so to speak, was that I guess you can make a trailer have anything look good these days. I mean, all the trailers that I saw were amazing, even though that they were for stupid movie, like Pixels, right? Did you see the Pixels trailer prior?
No, what's that?
Okay, so Adam Sandler is in it.
Oh, I've heard of that. That looks really stupid.
It does look really stupid.
I'm not a fan of him right now.
It basically looks like that episode of Futurama where the video games came down and took over the Earth. But even the trailer made it look funny in a couple of ways, like the bit where the Pac-Man creator, Toru Iwatani, he greets Pac-Man. He's like, "Oh, little boy, you have grown so big. Look at you." And then Pac-Man bites off his hand. I mean, I thought that was fun.
See, they probably have some cool things, but overall, that they're not going to... This is like really like surface level of video games. They're not going to have anything indie or anything like real, like, more... like a lot of old school stuff and like basically very surface level. And I don't even think they even got Nintendo's permissions, in my opinion. So if you don't even see a Mario, then it's no good.
I don't recall seeing anything except for Atari stuff, but it was very short. It wasn't a huge trailer. Speaking of smaller trailers, I did see Ant-Man. This is one that I hadn't seen. I was kind of avoiding the Ant-Man stuff for the same reason that I was avoiding the Age of Ultron trailers. But, I mean, Ant-Man, are you looking forward to it or no?
I'm still kind of ambivalent. I wasn't looking when I heard, what's his name? Was it that guy,
Paul Rudd.
No, not Paul Rudd. The director left.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's not Simon Pegg.
What did Hot Fuzz?
The dude who... not Simon Pegg? No. The dude who did that one that you like so much, Scott Pilgrim. We are horrible with names right now. But no,
yes. That does not bode well for this episode. Edgar Wright. So, yeah. So... I mean, it looked interesting enough. I think it kept my interest, but I told Jeremy, like, you're buying the tickets, I will go, but I'm not near as excited I am about other franchises that are coming out. It's been really hard for me to get my excitement level up about Ant-Man, and it looks like it might be trying to do Guardians of the Galaxy style humor, which I'm all thumbs up for. That's fine. But also then this trailer that I saw for the first time made it look like there were Phantom Menace levels of CG, and I'm not so into that, bro.
Yeah.
No. As a matter of fact, I want to talk a lot about CG when we talk about Age of Ultron here in a little bit. Tomorrowland was another one that I saw. There were endless trailers. I've got like 5 more to talk about.
Were you into Tomorrowland?
I've only seen like a teaser of it like a few movies ago. I don't remember what movie I saw on, but I hear it's interesting. So I mean, I'm willing to give it a go.
Well, I had no interest in it whatsoever prior to sitting down in the theater here now because it looked like, you know, something what dreams may come, you know, some touchy-feely, all about the emotions kind of crap, like a feel-good movie, a Hallmark Channel movie with the Disney treatment. But then when I watched this trailer, it's all action and it's got these dark themes and it's got some Matrix twisty stuff in it, it looks like. And I didn't realize that the Clunes was in it.
Oh, you didn't know the Clunes was in it? I knew the Clunes was in it.
I didn't know the Clunes was in it, but it looks like it's talking about like the dangers of state control and thought control and a Fahrenheit 451 vibe.
That sounds interesting. That sounds way more intriguing. If it can actually tackle dark things, dark, mature themes like that, like Winter Soldier did, I am all for it.
Fantastic Four was the next one up. And again, any account that you read out of Hollywood, out of the Hollywood media, just says that the Fantastic Four movie coming up is an absolute train wreck. It's just bad.
It does. I mean, yeah, the trailer makes it look pretty and interesting, but the thing is, they don't show you that much. So you're basically going off of a hope or a thought, like, "Oh my God, this looks so cool," and like I know better. I'm gonna continue to be skep off of this, no matter what, until they show me something cool, like something actually interesting, where they don't. As long as they don't have stupid dialogue like the previous one, it'll be a little bit better.
But that's the thing, is I was on board with this trailer. I thought it looked badass.
I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be excited. So
What are your thoughts on Jurassic World?
Raptor Biker Gang. Woo!
So apparently Chris Pratt can, I don't know, train velociraptors just by being badass enough to stare them down.
Yeah, maybe he just knows how they work, because like he probably studied them, like the other dude in part 3 or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, Raptor Biker Gang is gonna be completely awesome. I really want a shirt. I'm surprised that there's no shirt that exists out there that some T-Fury or T-Turtle or whatever created. Actually, what's up, Raptor? Let me see, the Raptor Biker Gang. There has to be a shirt, because if there's not a shirt, then they are totally missing out on awesome. Okay, no, it does exist. Good job, Internet. I'm so proud of you.
So I kind of liked the first trailer that we saw way back in the fall, but I mean, that doesn't mean that it looks smart. It still looks as dumb as ever, but in a pretty way. Mm-hmm. So who knows? I might go see it. I don't know.
I'm gonna watch it because I just want to see it has a theme park. I'm like, oh, if only this were cool, but it's not gonna exist because people are stupid and they want to create. Once again, they want to create something bigger and badder, and they don't understand that, hey, maybe this is dangerous. We cannot control it.
A recurring theme in Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You said that you didn't get the Star Wars trailer. Neither did I. But did you get Batman v Superman?
No. I got the first Star Wars trailer, the original one, where they show the lightsaber. Yeah, the crazy lightsaber with the sidey thingies. But I can't. Okay. Yeah, we didn't see the second one. I really wanted to see the second one on the big screen because I would have probably cried and peed my pants a bit. So, but no, they showed us.
No Dawn of Justice.
Nope. I saw that. We went to go watch Fast 7 or Furious 7 or whatever, and I'm very skeptical about that movie because it's Zack Snyder, and like I said, I'm kind of okay and done with Batman in general. So, I don't know, and I still don't buy Batfleck. I am very completely not behind Batfleck. So
I'm behind Batfleck. I really am. I'm firmly in the DC camp. You know that about me.
I know you are.
DC all the way.
But it's just, I don't know. But did you see that that comic I posted after that they released that trailer? It's like that picture. It's a scene, but instead of Superman, it's Wonder Woman, and he's like, where Batman asks Superman, like, let's see if
you bleed.
Do you bleed? And Wonder Woman's like, yes, I do, once a month.
That ain't cool.
And Batman's like, ew, gross.
So. I didn't get to see that trailer either. I was pretty upset.
Oh, okay.
Didn't get to see it in the theater. But the last one that I did see, did you happen to catch Self/Less?
No. What? Man, my theater sucks with the trailers. What the hell? Self/, what was that again?
Selfless, but it's Self/Less, just like face off.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
This one caught me by surprise. It's like a dying Ben Kingsley gets a second life by having his consciousness transferred into the empty shell of a body that once was Ryan Reynolds. And you know how I feel about Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, I love Ryan Reynolds. But yeah, see, I honestly have no clue or idea what movies are coming out unless it's like huge franchise movies. Like this, never heard of it until you told me. So
this was the first time that I heard of it too, so I had to quick look into it. I don't know whether it's a Philip K. Dick novel adaptation, but it certainly seems like something that he would have written. It's one of those, who are you really? What happens if you lose your memories? Can the you that you think you are be supplanted by something else?
No, actually, this is not based off of this. And the Wikipedia page states, it says, see also Dollhouse TV series, which is interesting, but
that kind of makes sense.
Nothing speaking with this is actually from a actual book or anything like that.
Very good. Let's talk about Dawn of Justice. I'm sorry, no.
But Dawn of Justice.
No, well, I want to talk about Dawn of Justice.
I don't care.
Let's talk about Avengers 2, Age of Ultron. Made $24 million just in its Thursday night preview showings.
Wow. Very, very respectable.
Yeah. And then I just saw something pop up a couple of hours ago. It grossed $187 million already over the past 3 days to rank second. It's number 2 on the all-time domestic opening list. Mm-hmm. So I think Disney are pretty happy with that, probably.
Yeah.
More than likely, they're doing a little dance and taking baths in tubs full of money.
Mm-hmm.
Rated 75% by critics on Rotten Tomatoes, 90% fresh by audiences, 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb. Let me just start by asking this. You said in the episode that will come next week, because of time travel apparently, you said that your anticipation level for Avengers 2, I think you said it was at an 8?
No, I think it was going to be a 9. It was at a 9.
It was at a 9. Okay,
9.
So how did you feel coming out of the theater?
More of a 7.5.
So it let you down a little bit, but not all the way. You still put it in the camp of an awesome movie?
Yeah. Okay. It is really hard. You know, I think it's like right there, right at the beginning of awesome. It's not full awesome, you know, the whole spectrum. I don't know.
Would you say it's more rad than awesome at this point?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say that.
But not quite tubular.
No, you know, I think it's right there at the beginning of awesome, because like I'm trying to think of certain moments that I really enjoyed in that movie, and I actually had an audible like, what the, and I think you can probably easily guess what part that was. Like this, I was like, whoa! I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. So I wish they showed more of that.
I think it's really important that we divide this review into 2 different pieces. Let's talk non-spoilery stuff first. So try to keep a curb on telling anything that happens toward the end or lasting impact stuff. Let's just talk in general terms here to start.
Okay.
Objectively, I would say that this is a good movie.
Okay.
Are you on board with that?
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I'm completely on board with that. I wasn't angry. This movie did not anger me. So it was good.
Because after Man of Steel came out last summer, there was a whole camp that was like, this movie fucking sucks. We hate it. This movie is terrible.
I was not letting that. I was not part of that Man of Steel camp, angry Man of Steel camp at all. I thought it was good movie. The best thing about that movie was freaking Krypton. Krypton was awesome. I want to see more Krypton.
But there's been a little bit of a backlash along those lines against superhero movies, comic book movies that have come out in the past 3 or 4 years. It seems like they don't hold the same cash anymore. Now that the newness of having your thing appear on the screen, having comic book movies fully be realized on the big screen, that's kind of faded for geeks. It's not valued as much anymore. So now we're starting to pick them apart a lot more readily.
I would have to agree with you on that, because when I thought about this, over the last 3 days, since Friday night, I went to go watch Age of Ultron. Since then, I've rewatched Age of Ultron through means of
legal means.
Some means of some sort.
Yeah, 100% legal.
Yeah, and then I watched Avengers again, and I actually just recently started watching Iron Man. So I was like, I need to go. I actually planned on going through the entire series before Age of Ultron, but that just didn't happen. So I'm gonna rewatch every movie. Maybe even the Hulk, but yeah. So I was trying to figure out like what is my list of the order of like the best certain Marvel Universe movie so far, and I'm still compilating my list. So
we asked for people's reactions on our Facebook page. We got a few reactions here. We only posted it a little bit earlier. I think that there were an awful lot of complaints about Age of Ultron, but what seemed to happen is that everyone said, well, I liked the movie, but here's my list of complaints. And every professionally written article that I saw, every professionally written review that I saw was kind of the same thing. Here's generally how every review seems to go, and how I feel too. It kind of sums it up. Hey, it's a lot of fun. Something was missing. It's just not as joyful as the last one. It's still a good movie, though. Go see it. I mean, you definitely have to see it. Just don't get too excited. Except about all the parts you should be excited about. Oh, fuck it. I don't know, man. Hulk smash. That's every review. That's the general outline for every review.
That is funny. I didn't really read. Yeah, I only read like one review. Was on The Verge, but I was like, I'm gonna try to. I actually was trying to make notes for this, but I actually got busy this weekend and sleepy, tired, so that didn't happen. But the thing is, I actually had a really good conversation with Jeremy after the movie when we were driving home, and I should have wrote down notes, but I did not. So I do apologize for that. Maybe it'll come to me along the way.
What does Jeremy think? Yay or nay?
Jeremy, what do you think about Age of Ultron out of 10?
8.5.
8.5.
Hey, that's fairly optimistic. Right?
That is very optimistic.
Look, it's hard not to say that the movie's gorgeous, right? It's got cinematography going for it.
Mm-hmm. It does.
It's very nice.
And of course, they had a few more slow-mo action sequences, like that were really, really cool, like in the beginning.
Okay, so like you're talking about the first Avengers movie, that one in the Battle of New York where it shows them all fighting together and they do their like video game style combos, and it shows them cooperating and coming together as a team for the first time.
Yeah.
There was more of that in this one, wasn't there?
Oh, definitely more. You definitely know that they were a fairly cohesive team. They knew how to work together. They played off of each other's strengths and weaknesses. And you even saw a combo of Thor and Captain America with the whole I'm going to hammer the shield thing, which was really cool.
Well, it works thematically. I mean, the movie's about whether they can be a team or not. Mm-hmm. So at some points they can't pull that stuff off. Some points they try and it comes off really lacking. And then, you know, of course, during the climax, they're a team again and everything works perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, tell me you did not like that slow motion sequence where they were jumping over that bunker and like they just like show them in their poses in the beginning when they're in Sokovia.
Yeah, you're talking about the cold open, right?
Yeah, in the cold open.
I mean,
like
first thing.
Yeah, bam! I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, of course you're gonna have a poster of that, and that poster is gonna like go for like tons of money or something. People would like to see that, or like it's gonna definitely be on desktop computer wallpapers, if anything. So that was cool, and yeah, it's just tell me something. Well, maybe not. We'll talk about that spoilery, so I don't want to talk about that yet. Like the dynamic between two characters.
Okay. All right. We'll get to that. Let's actually talk about the characters, because just like in a big event comic book, this one pulled in all kinds of characters from all over the place. I mean, they were just being flashy to put all these characters on the roster, and I can't imagine what their budget must have been just for, for acting names.
Yeah, because they had to pull in a lot of people from all the other worlds, like from the other movies. They pulled in Idris Elba from Thor, who played that guy, the gatekeeper guy. Can't think of his name.
Heimdall, I think.
Yes, Heimdall. Sorry, I will blank on all these. And they brought in something. What's that circus guy's name, Jeremy?
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. Yes, and it's gonna. And from what Jeremy told me, he signed on for 2 movies. So because he's more likely going to be in the Black Panther movie.
Right. He is the dude known as Claw, who's a big Black Panther villain. You know how he got his arm cut off? That's not really too spoilery.
Mm-hmm.
He got his arm cut off. Well, Claw is famous in the comics for having a badass gun, sometimes a sound weapon attached to that amputated arm.
Oh, okay. So that's his beginning story. He got his arm cut off or pulled off by Ultron.
Actually, if you want to learn about that whole thing, go watch Avengers Assemble, the cartoon that was on. Was it? I think it was on Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, one or the other. But really good cartoon if you want to get a lot of Avengers lore and kind of a basis for what goes on with the villains. They pulled in Rhodey or War Machine, whichever you want to call him.
Yeah.
Nick Fury was there. Jarvis, of course. Maria Hill. Sam Wilson, who's the Falcon.
Yeah, Falcon. And
Peggy Carter even showed up, but kind of in a dream sequence thing. Eric Selvig was there, although it's kind of hard to say why. Baron von Strucker started the movie off. He's kind of a big villain when you get down to the Avengers canon. I hesitate to say it in the non-spoiler section. What the hell? The Vision comes in.
Everyone knows the Vision's there. Come on.
He was on the movie posters and everything, so that's not really too bad. Quicksilver was in there. Scarlet Witch was in there. And then, of course, there's all the big players, Cap, Hulk, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Thor. You know who wasn't there?
Who?
Two very important people didn't show up. No Loki.
They said that there was rumor that there was a scene with Loki, but it may have gotten cut out, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, I saw confirmation of that. It got pulled from the film.
And who's the other person?
No Carol Danvers. Remember I said about Captain Marvel?
Oh, yeah.
I'm
okay with that because there was a lot going on in this movie, and, so it's hard to keep up with all these different characters and try to know their stories, and that's also one of the things possibly problematic with this movie, as well as upcoming future releases for the Marvel Universe.
There's no women's.
Huh?
There's no women's.
I'm not saying that necessarily. I'm just saying there's a lot to you. If you really want to flesh out all these individual characters, you're gonna end up coming into a 3-hour movie. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, the running time was like 2:15, I think.
Okay.
And I heard that the first cut that Joss Whedon wanted the studios to go with was 3:15.
Whoa! 3 hours and 15 minutes. I would watch that. Hopefully, hopefully they'll release all that stuff.
You know how they do this now. They make the long version and then they release it as the extended cut.
No, that's Lord of the Rings. That's not that doesn't have to do with any of the Marvel movies. That's Lord of the Rings. That's different. So.
You know what, though? For as many characters as they had in Age of Ultron, they did an okay job of giving everyone something to learn. Even like Rhodey.
Yeah, especially with... Oh, but yeah, go ahead and talk about Rhodey. We'll talk about the other one later.
Well, there's not much to say. He had a very, very small arc, but it was an arc. He had the thing about his ego being deflated, that he didn't feel that his war stories showed up to Iron Man's, and so there was some sort of a friendly rivalry there.
Yeah, the party scene was pretty hilarious with just the looks on the faces. But definitely the dream sequences were very, very, very good. I enjoyed those dream sequences, especially for one particular Avenger.
Which one?
Black Widow.
Oh, you liked that?
Yes.
I really do hope that they take that and run with it and turn it into a Black Widow movie.
Okay, here's the thing. If you watched Agent Carter, you would have known about that. And in Agent Carter, she actually ends up going against one of those girls that grew up from the Russian killer women society school thing. So people knew about that, and that's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That Black Widow came from that Natasha Romanoff. I was like, that makes a lot of sense, and you actually got to see a little bit more of that school in Agent Carter. So.
See, when you mentioned the word problematic a little bit earlier, I thought that you were talking about the lack of women. You have Black Widow and you have Scarlet Witch, and then you have a host, just a host stretching as far as the eye can see of dudes in Age of Ultron. Now, 2 women is okay, I guess, but I would like to see a few more.
I would like to see a few more, but at the same time, it's like, I know this is Marvel, and there's mostly male heroes. But
it goes even further than that. Like, have you seen the toy lines at all? I have a 3-year-old.
Oh, yeah. I know. The whole Black Widow not being part of the toy line, that's completely...
I haven't seen any Scarlet Witch toys either.
That is so stupid. And yeah, because, you would think that Disney would learn this by now, when people made a little bit of a shit fit about the whole Lego series, how all the scientists were all male. You didn't have a women scientist Lego series or whatever, and they finally released it. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of stupid on Disney's part. Disney, you're gonna keep making money regardless. It's okay to make a little bit less money than you project if you can actually, cater to everybody and make the kids happy and the parents happy and for equality. Come on now.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I was so thrown by this whole, and I mentioned it a couple times, the Disney toy packages, the little statues that you can buy for like $12 or $13 for like 6 of them. They don't say Age of Ultron on the ones that are in the stores now, but Ultron is in them, along with Hulk, the Vision, Tony Stark, well, Iron Man, Captain America, and then they don't do Black Widow. They do Carol Danvers, which is why I thought for sure she was going to be in the movie. Why not put Black Widow in the damn toys?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. And if anything, I would be in fear that they'd make it too sexy. You know, like I don't know.
Did you notice though, in that the movie art, the posters and that sort of thing, you don't get the Black Widow twisted around butt shot?
Yes, because the internet made a shitstorm about it, and maybe finally someone from Disney was like, "Hey, this isn't good."
As a matter of fact, the most prevalent poster you get, okay, so it's a lineup, right? And there's one person on the far extreme of each side who's turned around for a little bit of the butt shot. Okay. The first one is Hawkeye, and then the second one is Scarlet Witch.
Okay, I'm gonna look online real quick.
And it's not quite as egregious as all the upshots of Scarlett Johansson's ass from the first one.
That's good.
Yeah, they learned their lesson a little bit, I think.
A little bit.
Anyway, all that to say that overall they did an okay job of having an arc for every little person. Some of them were bigger than others. Some of them were just small, but I thought that they did a great job. The flip side of that, of course, being that it did come off as a little bit fractured. They didn't spend a whole lot of time on any one person.
Well, actually, you could say they did a little bit.
Who do you think was developed the most in Age of Ultron?
Well, in regards to development, I don't think it's development. I just thought he is more as seeing more about. Well, is seeing more. When you say develop, would you say like they develop as a character, or versus actually seeing more about this person and his and about them? Because like they showed a lot more about Hawkeye and like what he's about and like where he's from. That was cool.
And at the same time, they did have him change from the first movie an awful lot. I mean, he was in a much more comfortable position. He took a lot more charge and a lot more power in the group. He kind of saw his job as to be the silent guiding hand.
Mm-hmm. And actually, yeah, because one thing about the first movie, you definitely see it. Yeah, you see it on a different side. But yeah.
So let's talk about Quicksilver. He's the other new character. We mentioned Scarlet Witch a few times, but how do you compare Quicksilver from Age of Ultron to Quicksilver in Days of Future Past? I know that you were a huge fan of the way that Days of Future Past handled it.
He was great because he was hilarious, very not serious, and of course he was a lot younger than I would imagine than versus the Age of Ultron Quicksilver. He was enjoyable. I think they're both good for the movie that they're in. And we could talk more about that after the spoiler part of it in regards to Quicksilver. Yeah. But no, I thought he was very enjoyable. And the guy who played him, the guy who came from Kick-Ass, did a pretty good job of him too. So, but the thing is, you didn't really get a lot of dialogue between him or Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch more so.
Yeah, more so.
You got more development with her. Yeah. And for good reason, I think. But we'll get to that later. Tell me about fights. How did you feel? One constant criticism that I've seen in some of the reviews is that it's too punchy all the way through, that they don't really take the time to slow down an awful lot. And I suppose that's true to a certain extent. I don't really think that I would go as far in saying that as some of the reviewers, but did you enjoy the fights? Did the fights fall too flat for you? Did you
No, I thought the fights
get restless?
I didn't get restless with the fights. I thought they were very enjoyable. And, the thing is, though, I noticed this with like the previous Avengers movie that there was like a huge wow factor. Like, you got amazed at this movie, at what the first Avengers did. Like, you were wowed with like, with like Hulk just completely stealing the show, kicking some freaking ass. And then we're fighting these huge aliens and the things that come from them fighting them. I mean, this one was cool, but there wasn't a huge wow factor, in my opinion, in the last fight in Sokovia, because there was something that was a little bit missing. I mean, there was one thing that was kind of cool, but it wasn't as cool, as immense or awesome as like seeing Hulk just tear shit up. I mean, there was the fight though between Hulk and Iron Man Hulk was really cool.
We can talk about that in the non-spoilers section because all of the trailers showed that scene anyway, or at least portions of it. Look, I liked watching the Hulkbuster fight.
Yes, that was really good. And Tony Stark did such a great where the Hulk spits out the tooth, and then you see Robert Downey Jr. goes like, "I'm sorry." Hilarious, absolutely hilarious. But no, and then the Hulk, he's like constantly punching him, like, "Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep." Like, yeah, that was a great fight sequence. You know, it was hilarious. You just saw things get destroyed as you would imagine things would get destroyed, and I don't know, that was pretty good. And then you saw was it afterwards where you saw how Hulk realized it? Well, there was a moment where Hulk was like, he got out of the rubble and he was just looking at the people, you know, everyone like being affected by all this like chaos and tragedy and destruction. And I think, yeah, I would think maybe possibly Bruce Banner had a good amount of development in this.
Oh yeah. His story is really great. Yeah. I think you'll want to talk about romances a little bit later.
Yeah, we will.
For right now, I want to go on record as saying that the Hulkbuster fight was my favorite part of the movie, as far as action sequences go. Mm-hmm. Not thematic or anything like that, but just as far as sitting there and watching something and being hooked on what was going on the screen, the Hulkbuster versus Hulk fight was awesome.
Because if anything, when you saw that shit in the trailers, you was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be on! I'm so excited!" It's like that excitement feeling you got when you saw the freaking Star Destroyer in the background for the Star Wars trailer. Like,
exactly,
you knew that this was going to be a good scene. So yeah, I would have to say that is probably my favorite fight sequence.
Actually, I was thinking about you when it came on because we have a little bit of an in-joke. I kept on thinking, okay, he's got a Hulkbuster. What if somebody has a Hulkbuster? Okay, because we've got a Hulkbuster.
That's hilarious.
Oh, Marky Mark.
Oh, good call.
But even that scene, even that whole big thing left me feeling a little bit empty. And I think this goes back to what you were saying. What more could a movie like this possibly deliver?
Exactly.
I don't know.
I think the only wow factor was there was only one huge wow, maybe 1.5 or 2, but the huge wow factor, it's spoilerish. It's when our theater audibly went, "Oh," and I went, "What the?" But I'm sure I know that we can talk about that after the spoilers. But it was I liked it. But no, I can't think of any other fight sequences that really got me. You know, I mean, the last one was cool, where they spun around the church.
Right, but here's the problem with that one. That one had all this kind of crap going on the screen to the point where you couldn't really concentrate on any one thing. And if you can't concentrate on any one thing that's going on, you can't really invest yourself in anything that's going on. So, like, that's one of the reasons why Hulk versus Iron Man was my favorite fight. It was just two dudes. It was, as the Quicksilver would put it, a very small window to look through. And even though it's wreaking havoc on a huge city, it's just two guys going at it, taking out their frustrations at each other. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the movie was basically a zombie movie. I mean, that's what Ultron's doing. He's creating a zombie army that happens to be made of robots, right?
Yes.
And it's just sheer numbers. And that's each individual Ultron model doesn't stand a chance against any Avengers, but they're getting swamped, they're getting swarmed, they're getting overwhelmed, overrun. And that's where the threat comes from. It's just a zombie movie at that point, and that's kind of hard to get involved in.
That's a very valid point. I'd have to agree with you on that.
So it's just like the Chitauri from the first one. I mean, that seemed like the actual Chitauri didn't seem like too much of a threat. They were just there to...
I would think they were, but I think the action sequences versus them were a little bit... Maybe I need to watch Ultron again, those fight sequences, because I was watching, like I said, I watched Avengers earlier today, and those fight sequences were really well done. And but plus you had the big freaking whale Chitauri, that spaceship Chitauri thing. That was cool in Avengers. They didn't really have that in Ultron, like a huge...
Yeah, there was no comparable thing, right? It was just Ultron and all of his little robots.
Yes.
Want to talk about James Spader?
Yeah, I was wondering, so we're going to talk about Ultron? Are we going to talk about Ultron? So, some people were actually having legitimate complaints that he was all over the place and he was, they didn't really care for him.
In what way?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention because I thought, you guys are full of shit. I can't agree with you because I loved James Spader as Ultron. His voice acting was great, and just his the quips he would make were very funny, and I just realized that just Ultron is just he obviously does not see, like, he obviously has issues with Tony Stark, and he just doesn't understand that what he thinks is a way to peace is actually pretty goddamn psychotic. So, but no.
Remember how we had some concerns about James Spader? How he's a little bit sexy, how he's a little bit too human of a voice, how he's getting up there in age and he's a little bit doughy, and how that might not necessarily work. I don't want to pick on the guy because I'm fat, so I've got no room to speak. But when you're trying to cast a robot, do you cast someone who just oozes what James Spader oozes? And I was totally wrong to even doubt that for a second. It was perfect.
I thought, yeah, his voice acting was high quality, and his dialogue was pretty good too. So
the mixing was great too. Did you realize at the very beginning, right after Ultron was born, he came out in his very first puppet form? Not only could he not walk perfectly, like he was still trying to learn how to get around, but also his voice wasn't perfect. It wasn't coming off as human. It was distorted. It was electronic.
Yeah, you're right. It was.
And then over the next 10 or 15 minutes, he figured out how to walk. He figured out how to talk, and then he cut his strings.
And he got smoother. But yeah, no, I think he was a good villain. You definitely needed him to like bring out the Vision, but it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something else. I can't really think of anything necessarily really that negative about Ultron as a character, other than
well, as a character or as a plot device, because that's where I fall down on Ultron. Is he's a pretty good character, I suppose, the way that James Spader brings him to life. But what role does he really play in the movie? I mean, you kind of have the same problem with Ultron that you had with what was the name of the big bad Romulan in the first Star Trek?
Oh, Nero.
Yeah, the same problem there is that you don't really get any development of the villain. He's just kind of there to make the Avengers react to him. He's barely in the movie, really, when you look at it. I don't think that Ultron was really done right.
How would you make it be done right?
Well, they started off okay. The big argument, the philosophical argument between Banner and Stark about whether he was necessary, whether he could help protect the world, whether he was needed or not needed, whether he was worth the risk. But they needed to start off showing Ultron as having value and working fine. And then they should have had him going through a long, slow descent.
That's true.
Like slowly twisting and distorting and warping and taking what was a good moral idea and then just completely breaking that idea.
Yeah, he just went straight like, oh, I realized after looking at all these, like when you first see him, like, he turns off the mainframe or something, and Jarvis is like, hello, and like he wakes up. His consciousness wakes up, and he's like, what is this world? And he's basically just invading the database of Jarvis.
Yeah, he was born, and 3 seconds later, he's like, oh, time to kill all humans.
Yeah, so that would seem a lot better, but at the same time, time constraints, and maybe we could have just done with that now.
I think it would have been valuable, though, from a social standpoint, to do it my way. Because if they would have shown him as being awesome and helping people, and then slowly going bad, we could have used him to talk about what's happening with police right now. The necessity to have some police force to help keep the populace safe and enforce the law, but what happens when the police go bad and start shooting people or giving them rough rides that turn deadly.
Yeah, that actually would have been a really good spot on social commentary. But I don't know. Maybe they obviously, there's a time constraint, because like if they even try to do that, it would definitely be a 3-hour movie, and if they try to condense it in the current time frame of the movie, they'd have to take out a few things, and they'd probably take out, I would think like, the fight sequence they would take out was the one in Korea, but at the same time, like, you needed the one in Korea because that's when someone joins up, or people join up with the Avengers. So
did you think that the running time was too long? Did it feel like a long movie, like it was dragging to you?
No, the only thing that was bad for me in the movie was it had nothing to do with the movie. It's like the chairs I was sitting in. I got the hugest Charlie horse in my calf and foot cramps, so I had to get out of my chair, and I was pacing for a good 10 minutes trying to watch the movie while walking back and forth in the back of the theater, and my legs still freaking hurt from it. So if there's something about those chairs, I can't sit down in them. So, but no, there wasn't. I thought it was fine. I didn't seem like over 2 hours.
I thought 3-hour runtime would have been fine.
Yes, people don't understand. Like, I would sit down for a 3-hour movie. Just because you have kids, don't bring your kids.
I understand why studios don't. If you have a movie that runs 3 hours, it means that you can't fit as many showings in, which means you can't sell as many tickets, which means you don't make as much money. So I get that. Mm-hmm. But I know that it's the movie studio's job to sell tickets and to make as much money as possible and not to have a good piece of art. I get that, but I want a good piece of art.
Yes.
And I think that adding more would have helped that.
Disney, excuse me. If people are willing to buy tickets for the marathon of all the other Marvel movies before they watch Age of Ultron, people are willing to sit. That should tell you that people are willing to sit in a theater for a long period of time to be entertained and to get everything that they want to see. FYI. But those people that did that, oh my God, I wish I had that much free time on my hands.
Would you be willing to pay a ticket price based on the length of the movie? In other words, an 80-minute movie is $7, or let's keep it easy. A dollar every 10 minutes. An 80-minute movie would be $8. A 90-minute movie would be $9. A 120-minute movie would be $12.
Absolutely, because I've said this before on Seventh Chevron. I am willing to pay $20 for a ticket if I can reserve the seats, if I can have cushy chairs, and if I can be promised that no stupid-ass children under the age of whatever are in an R-rated movie or in there late at night, or people who show their phones are automatically kicked out. There's an usher there 24/7 in the theater policing the stupid people in the theater to not be stupid. I would pay good money for that.
So you would pay $18 for a 180-minute, a 3-hour movie?
Actually, that's pretty much the prices I did pay right now for the tickets.
Oh my God.
I paid $17 because I've reserved seating and cushy seats. We paid $17 a ticket. And the thing is, you don't understand. Reserved seating is the best thing ever. I do not have to leave early. I don't have to wait in line to get a ticket. I pre-bought my ticket, reserved my seats already through the Fandango app, and it's just like I don't have to, we basically go there like 5 minutes before the movie starts, and then we just go get our seats, and then we're good. You don't have to worry about it. It's the best thing ever. I cannot praise it highly enough. And if that theater had like more like enforcement of no stupid people and no children or no babies and loud action movies, I would pay more money because I want to sit down and enjoy something really well. And I'm at that point in my life where I can afford this. It's okay. So other than the comfort of my own home, I would pay much more money. Nothing against you guys having babies, but don't bring babies into a goddamn movie theater.
I don't understand that. I briefly dabbled with the idea of taking Rylan to see Age of Ultron. She's 3 years old, and I said, "What the hell are you thinking, Jason? That would be stupid." She wouldn't get it. She would probably be scared. It's a PG-13 movie. Yeah. She's not going to understand it.
So this family brings a bunch of kids, like around probably a little bit older than Rylan, 2 boys and a girl to Fast 7 or whatever. That little girl had to leave the theater 5 times to go to the bathroom. 5 times. That's no fun. That's not enjoying a movie. See, that's not
for the parent either.
Not for the parent. You're basically wasting your money or throwing your money away. Yeah. That's why I go to a movie to actually watch a movie, be engaged with the media. Like I said, I'm willing to pay up to $30 a ticket. I'm not gonna lie.
$30 a ticket.
I'm willing to pay $30.
Your mouth is, or your butt is.
I already dropped $17 on a ticket. That's not that big of a deal to me. Like I said, reserved seating, no stupid babies. I'm sorry, no loud babies. Your babies are not stupid. No loud baby.
Let's not insult the babies row. I didn't think that was a rule that needed to be voiced, but
no loud babies. There's no babies, period, and no dumb people with their phones, and I'll be okay. I'm okay with noisy food. That's a given. I'm used to it, but whatever.
Are you ready to get into spoiler territory?
Yeah, I'm sorry about my movie theater rant.
We're 45 minutes into this here. We're ready to get into the spoilers. I don't know who would have clicked on an episode about Age of Ultron without expecting to hear some spoilers.
You're going to hear spoilers, motherfuckers. Deal with it.
We're clearly going to review the movie, which entails talking about the movie. That's what happens. You talk about the movie, and people hear what happened in the movie. So spoilers are going to happen.
Yeah, I don't understand how... Okay, if you just want to hear the first half of this, I don't understand how people want to read reviews and not know that there's going to be spoilers. I don't get that. Because like, I know if I'm going to read a review, I'm going to be spoiled, which is why I try to ignore most of the internet and Twitter on Thursday and most of Friday, so I don't find out what people are thinking about this movie, so I can just go in with my own thoughts and opinions and my own open mind. So
let's start in the easy territory, Ro.
Okay.
Minor spoilers, let's put it.
Okay.
How do you feel about the love story between the Hulk and the Black Widow?
You know, at first I was like, is this really necessary? When I was during the theater in the movie, I was like, is this really necessary? Is this really needed? Because like, I wouldn't think that we need a romantic plot device or a romantic storyline in this, but you know, I think it's okay. I think it's fine because if anything, it helps with, I guess, some of the character development for Bruce Banner as well as Black Widow. But I don't know, it's just still, I'm not used to that because the first Avengers didn't really have anything romantic. It was just all about taking care of business. But yeah.
From a dude's perspective, as someone who wears a wiener, let me just say that if you were in close proximity of Scarlett Johansson all the time, it would be odd for you not to have some sort of romantic feeling for her. She is objectively a beautiful woman.
She is very beautiful.
I don't think that she's necessarily like the hottest thing on the planet, which I guess a lot of millennials feel. A lot of, the kids who are younger than us now that we're old, Ro. A lot of the dudes, and I suppose women too, think that she is just the pinnacle of beauty. I don't think that.
I don't think she's the pinnacle. I think she's very beautiful, and she has. Yeah. She's very well toned for her physique.
She certainly is, and that's fine. I mean, I just think that if I were Bruce Banner, I'd be chasing that pretty hard.
But I think if anything, that shows because he wasn't chasing it. He was way more conflicted with himself as the Hulk because of all of the damage he does when he is the Hulk and the people he ends up either killing or hurting, and he doesn't want that to happen to Black Widow. So he basically holds that wall between him and each other because he's afraid to take that risk. But I mean, he ends up wanting to take that risk. He wants to do it. You can tell he wants to do it, but he's just so afraid.
You identify as a female, right, bro?
I guess.
Then tell me, I'm not allowed to really talk about feminism too much, except to say that I believe that females have completely equal rights to everyone else. You being a female, tell me how you feel about Black Widow as a feminist character. Is she or isn't she, to start off? I mean,
what do you mean by that, by feminist character? I think she is a strong person in general. She comes up from a very conflicted past, being raised as a Russian assassin lady that eventually gets her graduation present as a freaking hysterectomy of some sort, or like the tying of the tubes, which is actually
a tubal ligation.
Yeah, something like that. So where she can't have babies, and having that taken away is, I guess that's a very tragic thing because you don't have that option or that choice as a woman. But I think she's a feminist because she's smart, she's not stupid. I mean, some people actually had issues with the fact that they left her hanging in the end as like the woman that was left behind, I guess. But I don't see it as that because she has a duty to S.H.I.E.L.D. She has a duty as an Avenger to help take care of what needs to get taken care of. Yeah, because Bruce Banner ends up leaving, or Hulk leaves on the plane, that's just his choice that he does. And yeah, he happens to leave her behind, but I don't think she's really left behind. She is there to take care of.
See, I was wondering how you would feel about this because she's the one who's being aggressive in the romantic relationship, going after Bruce. But then he's the one who leaves her. She says, "Hey, I would leave to follow you anywhere." Is that anti-feminist or not anti-feminist?
No,
or
it's
does
not.
it even matter?
that doesn't even, I don't think that even mattered at all. That's just love. That's wanting to be in a relationship. That's wanting to do something for someone else and try to be happy. That's love. I don't understand how that's seen as feminist at all.
Okay. I think that there would be some people out there who would say, you know, oh, she was willing to give up everything that she loved about her job and her career and all the things that she did and the things that she swore to protect to go after a man, to do what the man wanted, to chase after the man.
I think if people maybe want to see that as that, I never saw it as that. I just saw that as people wanting to take a chance at something that they never had or they really want to have. So
I don't think the Age of Ultron passes the Bechdel test either.
Hold on. I gotta think about that.
Or is there ever any point where two women have a conversation that's not about a man? There's really only 2-3 women in the movie. You've got Maria Hill, you've got Scarlet Witch, and you've got Black Widow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they weren't really having conversations with either one of each other. It's mostly each and every woman they were talking about the mission, weren't they?
Right.
They really weren't ever talking about a man.
I don't think they were ever directly addressing each other to begin with.
No. This does pass. Wait. What exactly is the Bechdel test? How many sentences does it have to pass?
I don't know. I don't know what the rule is there. Hold on. You talk about it, and I'll try to look it up.
It's it was the one with Velma, who is Hawkeye's wife, who also plays Velma in the Scooby-Doo movies. She and her have
Linda Cardellini.
They have a conversation about the baby and how the baby is not going to be a girl, but is going to be a boy. There you go. That's
women talking about a baby. Does that count? Is this purely reproductive?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think this would necessarily have that sort of... Do you think this is the sort of movie that would have a conversation between... Would you expect a conversation between two women talking about something other than we need to save Earth, we need to destroy the villain?
Well, why not? You have a prolonged conversation between Bruce Banner and Tony Stark about the philosophy behind whether Ultron is necessary.
That is true.
You have a big ethical conversation between them. I mean, it's like a 4-minute conversation.
That is very true.
And 3 sentences, by the way, is the benchmark for the Bechdel test.
3 sentences. So whatever, I mean, they're only talking about a baby, so maybe that doesn't necessarily pass.
That's a gray area, I think.
That is a very gray area. So, yay, nay.
You brought up Hawkeye and Hawkeye's family. Were you very surprised to find out that, I'm not sure if he was married, but at the very least has a full-time spouse with children?
I would imagine he's married. Yeah, it was surprising, but at the same time, you definitely saw it coming in a way because of the fact that they made the joke when they were fixing Hawkeye from the Korean Dr. Awesome Lady, where I need to get a girlfriend, a joke I can't help you in that situation, oh, okay. And then you saw him on the phone saying, oh, that was my girlfriend. I'm like, okay, you're gonna see more of
which that. Is why I said I don't know if he's married. He told Cap that it was his girlfriend, and then when he introduced the Avengers, he called her his girlfriend.
Oh. Maybe so.
Maybe he was just being cheeky. Maybe it was just he was throwing the word back in their faces.
I think but I thought it was cool, seeing that and knowing that he had to hide that, as being a part of a Shield, he was allowed by that guy, Nick Fury, to hide the fact that he had a family. But it was interesting, but it just seemed weird too, because you weren't expecting that.
Well, I was really nervous about it the whole time because anytime that they try to humanize a character and say, oh, look, he's got kids. Oh, look, he's got a home. That's hanging a big old dead sign around his neck and saying, guess who's
can we talk about that?
Bullet?
Let's fucking talk about that leaf on the wind. Let's talk about that leaf on the wind shit right there. Okay.
Well, yeah, because this is written and directed by Joss Whedon, who also did Serenity. And anytime that he's got a married couple in his movies, one of them's going to die.
So, yeah, the whole entire time, you thought the entire time with little scenes here and there that that Hawkeye's going to totally die. Hawkeye's going to die. Because you have scenes between him and his family. You see him on fixing the porch with his son, him talking to his wife about, I'll be okay, I'll be back, things like that. And then when he gets ready for the final fight, you see him holding the picture of his family, he's going to so die. They're going to kill Hawkeye. They're going to kill Hawkeye.
They're going to deep six that bastard.
They're going to deep six him.
That's the only reason ever to show family as being something to love.
And then what happens? Of all things that happen.
Well, they pulled a big switcheroo. I was actually kind of wondering whether it was intentional or unintentional that it happened to work out the way that it did. I think it was probably very, very intentional.
They end up, basically what happens is they end up, Hawkeye ends up going to try to save this kid to bring him on the ship from Sokovia, and Ultron gets one of the planes, one of the Quinjets, and starts shooting, and then Quicksilver goes in to block off the bullets and ends up dying. I have a serious problem with this. Number one, I like Quicksilver. I wanted to continue seeing him in the future movies. Number two,
okay, no, don't move on to number two. Tell me more about that, because one of the things that I was kind of worried about the whole time is that they weren't giving Quicksilver any kind of personality. He had one joke that he repeated over and over and over again with Hawkeye.
Yeah, you didn't see that coming.
Right, that's the joke. And what else do you know about him? You know the thing about how he and his sister survived. But other than that, tell me something you know about Quicksilver.
Yeah, you didn't really know. There's not much to know about him other than he really cares for his sister, and he really, really wanted to get revenge on Tony Stark because he blamed them for the death of his parents and the destruction of his city.
So given that they only gave him really 2 points of development, why did you like him so much?
I just like Quicksilver, and I like him. He was cool, and you had a new character. Why would you want to kill him off so they can develop him down the road in the future franchises? Because the fact of the matter is, we know that Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans don't want to be part of this stuff anymore in the future, and they're setting it up to have newer characters and heroes be part of the Avengers. So I thought this was going to be something.
That's a point to visit a little bit later in the podcast too, to talk about Tony Stark's departure, because I mean, he has to come back, but that's jumping ahead.
Okay.
Did you think that it was too convenient for them to kill off Quicksilver at the end then, instead of killing off Hawkeye? Like you said, you've got a brand new character here. You've just introduced him.
Yeah, it was
convenient. Take the bullet instead of the big guy. Was it chicken shit for them to do that?
I thought it was taking chicken shit to kill anyone, in my opinion. I didn't want to see anyone. No one wants to see anyone die, especially from the heroes. But
it's a Joss Whedon movie. Somebody's going to die.
I thought it was complete bullshit for the fact that Quicksilver wasn't able to not dodge the bullets, for the fact that you saw that whole entire fight sequence in Korea when you see Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver join up with the Avengers to help rescue the people. So while they were on that train, like the train that was going crazy with Captain America, Scarlet Witch was trying to help put the train to a stop, and then Quicksilver was getting all the people out of the way of the train so they wouldn't get hurt. You would think that with Quicksilver's powers, he was able to either move something faster out of the way or move them out of the way. I found that to be complete bullshit. I'm like, so he's able to move all these people out of the way of a train, but he's not able to do this to help save Hawkeye and the kid from the bullets, and he takes the bullets instead. And then I also thought, like, okay, they're gonna save him. They have to save him because of the fact that, well, doesn't the Vision have some sort of powers? He's a fucking Infinity Stone. He has an Infinity Stone in his goddamn head. You would think there's some way he would be able to rescue him.
Don't you think that probably would have raised a little bit more ruckus from viewers, though? Oh, you killed off somebody and you resurrected him, just like you did with Coulson.
That I would think that's the reason why you'd see him back. Like, if they can do that with Coulson, why couldn't they do that with him?
Oh, maybe they will.
Yeah, maybe they will. If they will, then I'm like, okay, that's expected. I would be okay with that. But I was just like, oh, I actually got kind of sad on that moment. I'm like, oh, But tell me. So this is what Jeremy told me. He told me the joke that, would you think that it was completely intentional with his one-liner of, I bet you didn't see that coming, when he said that?
Oh, I think it was.
Completely.
Yeah, I think that was a setup very early in the movie. As a matter of fact, Age of Ultron did that very, very well, and they did it well with another exact kind of like a parallel joke, the whole thing with the hammer, lifting Thor's hammer. Who is worthy to wield Mjolnir?
So cool. Meow meow.
Who was?
Meow meow.
I loved how they set that up at the party in the beginning. You want to talk about Mjolnir?
Yeah, Mjolnir. Yeah, meow meow. So basically towards the end, when the party would like died down, it was just basically the Avengers, as well as Maria Hill, War Machine, and the Korean doctor lady. I'm sorry, you don't know Dr. Cho, I think.
Dr. Cho. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So remember her name. Good job. So anyways, they're just talking about Meow Meow, and Meow Meow is on the table. And
why do you keep calling it Meow Meow?
Because it's Meow Meow. It's always gonna be Meow Meow. To be. So anyways, so they're talking about, like, joking around, like, yeah, you can't, only those who are worthy can pick it up, and then they have everyone try to pick it up, and they obviously can't pick it up because of the fact that they have to be worthy to pick up Meow Meow.
I had a little bit of a problem with that to start, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America should be able to pick it up.
Did you see where he was able to and then the look on Chris Hemsworth's face was like the smile and the frown. He's like, whoa, and he could pick it up, and then he was like, oh, like me. Thor was like, oh, okay, we're good.
But here's the thing: Cap has picked it up before in the comics. He is worthy to pick it up.
Yeah, I would think Captain is worthy.
He's the one pure character, right?
Yes, I guess you're right. But he's maybe, I don't know, maybe because he's not Asgardian or, of a certain level. But
you don't have to be Asgardian to pick it up.
I know.
Beta Ray Bill has picked it up.
Who's that?
Oh, who is that? He's a dude that has a horse face.
Okay.
And Odin actually gives him his own version of Mjolnir because he's so worthy. He goes out and becomes a Thor of a other space sector.
Okay, see, as you can tell, I don't read any of those comics, so it's like, whatever. But
Magneto's picked it up.
Okay. Wow.
It's made out of metal, yo.
That's probably why, but he's not really worthy.
No, but it's made out of metal.
Okay, well, that is the comic universe. We are talking about the movie universe.
Superman and Wonder Woman have picked it up.
How?
With their hands.
How they're part of the DC universe. How does that make any sense?
There's crossovers.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, a DC versus Marvel universe.
I don't know.
There's actually more than one crossover title.
Well, that sounds kind of
As a matter of fact, Wonder Woman, it's hardly a thing for her at all. She's just she hefts it and tosses it around.
Well, we don't know about that because this is the movie universe. So
that's true.
It doesn't exist. But did your theater have that audible when the Vision picked up and just nonchalantly handed Thor his hammer?
It was a good thing. I really liked that part of the movie, although they backpedal on it a little bit, which I also liked. They introduced some ambiguity as to whether he picked it up because he was worthy or not. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't catch that. Please enlighten me.
Okay, so after all the big action, when they're wrapping up all the loose ends, Cap and Thor and Iron Man, all in plainclothes at this point, have a conversation about whether he was worthy to pick it up or whether he just picked it up because he was a machine. And they crack the joke about you put the hammer in an elevator, the elevator goes up, but the elevator's not worthy.
Oh, but that doesn't count. It's not picking it up. That's not that's basically carrying it.
But the question is the Vision a machine or is it a person?
I think it's a person because it's a fucking Infinity Stone. It's the consciousness of an Infinity Stone brought to life.
Is that a person?
Is it a person? Well, it has a consciousness. I would imagine so, even though it may have a body mostly of machine, but possible also of flesh. You have the body of the it's not unobtainium. It's vibranium.
The Infinity Stone comes out of the scepter. Mm-hmm. And they talk early in the movie about the scepter being a computer. And that's where they open it up and they get the computer program that turns into Ultron. They say, oh, this computer program, look how complex it is compared to Jarvis. It looks like it's thinking. So is it a computer program? Is it a dude? Is it a soul? Is it real? Is it a person? Is it a machine?
Well, do you think Ultron is well, he obviously has a consciousness. He woke up. I mean, that kind of sounds like some sort of consciousness of some sort.
It'd be interesting if they would have ever addressed whether Ultron could pick up Mjolnir. Yeah.
And if anything, too, he also had fear. He was fearful of Jarvis. So that's why he tried to destroy him.
They also left a little bit of a other question mark with the Vision at the end. You know that part where he has that private conversation with the last Ultron robot out in the woods? And the Vision basically looks at him and says, the Avengers don't understand. I'm not good or evil. I'm just interested in life. Mm-hmm. And that left a little bit of doubt on whether the Avengers can fully trust him. What if the Vision decides that he can do something harmful that he thinks is for the greater good?
Yeah, he's very comparable to that robot that Lex Luthor made in Justice League animated series. What's the name of that robot?
Oh, okay. Lex Luthor didn't make him, but yeah, Brainiac.
Is it Brainiac? No. I don't think his name is Brainiac. The one that ends up becoming a very evolved being, and he leaves Earth and the universe.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the android that Dr. What's-His-Face made.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't Lex Luthor that made him.
Yeah, but Lex Luthor used him.
Right, and that's why the android returns and tries to kill Lex Luthor. Right.
But it's like that. He Vision reminds me of him. So that's a good point. That's a good point to pick out. That the fact that you don't know if he's going to be good or bad, but at the same time is you definitely saw the beginning romance between him and Scarlet Witch. Because I heard in the comic universe that Vision and Scarlet Witch end up getting together. And
I don't know that much about the Vision, to be perfectly honest with you. I know a few things that they've thrown at us in animated features. There's one on Netflix. It's probably still on there. I haven't seen it for quite some time, but it's called The Next Avengers, which is about how Ultron does succeed in taking over the Earth and killing all of the Avengers, but their kids get sent to live with Tony Stark at the South Pole, I think it is. And the Vision is kind of like he's hanging around. That's really all that I know. So they have a romance.
Yeah, no, yeah. Jeremy told me they end up getting together and in the Marvel universe they have babies. So
I didn't really see the steaminess that I saw some people talking about.
It's just not steaminess. It's just you saw a definite interest from Scarlet Witch. She was definitely interested in the Vision as a just intrigued, I guess.
Where did you see that? Because I think the only time that I don't know, that I realized that she was thinking about him was when she said, "Oh, all of a sudden I can sense that he's in there, that he's alive." No.
It was basically when the Vision, it was towards that part where the Vision is talking and they're all getting ready. It pans to Scarlet. It shoots to Scarlet Witch for her just looking at him, not necessarily longingly, but very intrigued by him. And then,
where in the movie are you talking about? The beginning, middle, end?
It's towards the end, when the Vision becomes when he's in the Stark Mansion or Stark Tower. Oh. I need to watch that again, but no, it was there. There was several. He
was the one that swooped in and saved her at the last minute during the.
Okay. There was that too. So I'm saying the seed has been implanted.
I feel like we're spending an awful lot of time talking about things that we didn't like about the movie, and I've got another big one. Okay. I'm just going to go on record. I liked Age of Ultron. It's not one that I think I'm going to buy on DVD like I did with the first Avengers.
Oh, I'm going to buy it just because.
But at the same time, I keep on thinking of all these problems that I've got with it. Did you, for 1 minute, think that Ultron was going to win?
Yeah, you're right. No, not at all.
That's kind of a dramatic problem.
Well, did you think at all that Loki was going to win in the first Avengers?
Yeah, I thought that there was a good chance that not necessarily that he would win, but that he would create long-lasting damage, which he kind of did. I mean, he limped away, but he still caused the alien invasion. He still survived. He's still out there. He's sitting on Odin's throne. Whether he killed Odin or replaced him or whatever happened, we don't know yet.
Yeah, and you're right, because I remember, because I talked about this on the previous podcast that's going to be released after this one, on how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., one of the precognitive type people, special people of the, what are they fucking called?
Inhumans.
The Humans, thank you. She basically saw that, the world will be changed forever and so much destruction, so much this. Yes, and there was a lot of destruction, but at the same time, it's do you necessarily think that the world has been changed forever from this movie, Avengers movie? Because they already know about aliens. Other than pretty much half of Sokovia is gone. It's a huge crater. Maybe because of the
it's just an Eastern European country. Nobody gives a shit about it.
Yeah, exactly. But if anything, everything will be changed forever. So that does make a little bit of sense because of what happens after the initial credit sequence. Because what we're gonna see next in the next Avengers movie. Infinity Gauntlet.
Don't go there quite yet.
Okay. So, no, I think now I basically answered my own question in regards to what the Shield from the girl from the Shield said. So, but you're right. You didn't think he was going to win at all. You knew he was gonna lose.
Well, when the stakes are, will the world be destroyed or won't the world be destroyed? You always know that the world won't be destroyed, and I think that that's where this movie fell down. Is we're gonna wipe out every human on the face of the planet. It's not going to happen because then they can't do further movies. Mm-hmm. So it immediately, no matter what the action scene is, it kills all the tension. The only tension that there was really was, will Hawkeye die or not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that was the only tension.
stories like DC's Identity Crisis. Have you read that one, by the way?
No.
Omar will go on record as saying it's a good movie. He'll join me. He'll be on my, or a good book rather. He's on my side.
Okay.
Instead of the stakes being, the fate of the world, the whole world will be destroyed. The stakes are very small. It's, will the father of Robin die? Will the spouses of the superheroes be picked off one by a strange killer? And for all the superheroes' powers and strengths, they can't stop this tiny little thing, this invisible killer, from getting to the people that they love. Not the billion people in, wherever it is, not the 7 billion people on the planet, just the one person that Green Arrow loves, or just the one person that Robin loves. Can they stop the killer from getting to them? And I think that sometimes when you take the stakes and you put them down to a relatable one-on-one level, they seem a lot bigger.
That's true.
Like, how would you feel if the next villain doesn't target the entire world population? What would you think if Thanos went after Linda Cardellini?
It'd be odd, but it'd be more of just like...
If you're a supervillain, and this is what I think Ultron should have done. If you're Ultron and you want to break the Avengers, do you go after all the people in the world, or do you go after the superhero's wife?
It would have made more sense if you saw more of Ultron going after Tony Stark and his entire life and company and Pepper Potts. That probably would have made it more interesting.
Hey, Pepper didn't make an appearance in this movie either, did she?
I don't think. Well, no, I gotta think about this. No, I don't think she did.
I don't think she was in there anymore.
No, she didn't.
I think that they very conveniently. It was Pepper and Jane, right?
Yeah,
Gwyneth
they
Paltrow
compared.
and Natalie Portman. They said, "Oh, they're not around conveniently."
Mm-hmm.
But let's have a joke about them.
Yeah, like my girlfriend's better.
Did you think? What do you think about Robert Downey Jr. departing? Is he done or not done?
No, because he's going to be in Civil War with Captain America.
That's what I said too. Iron Man has to be there for Civil War. So they're having him drive off into the sunset. I'm not sure what they want to accomplish with that. What's the point of not having Iron Man around anymore?
Well, it's because he only signed up for one more movie, and that's Civil War, and that's it, for what I hear. So, I mean, that's why, all the Iron Mans are done, right? 1 through 3, we're done?
I think so, unless they back a boatload of money up, which, I don't see why not.
I think he's going to be in Civil War, and I would hope he'd be the next Avengers, because that's going to be a huge one, but I don't know. They don't want to be... And the thing is, you saw them set up at the end, where, the end sequence where Captain America and Black Widow are going to go back on another mission, and they have all the new Avengers, a new people to the team. They have War Machine, the Falcon, and Scarlet Witch, and the Vision. You don't see Thor, you don't see Hulk, and Hawkeye is out.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye is going to go help out the new baby.
Do you think that he's gone for good, though? Or just gone until the next movie?
I think he's just gone until the next movie.
Okay. What do you think about the new roster, by the way? Because the Avengers lineup has changed in the comic books so many times over the years. I think that actually one night on Atomic Trivia War, that was a big question: was how many Avengers can you name? And the list is just it's 50 superheroes.
I'm not a fan of War Machine. I mean, Don Cheadle's cool and all, but he's just a poor man's Iron Man. So you can't be Tony Stark. Is
that because he's black, Ro?
No, it's not because he's black.
He's racist.
Yes, absolutely racist. Completely racist. But I think it'll be interesting to see how the Vision is going to develop, as well as Scarlet Witch, now that her brother's dead. But I don't know. But I mean, Falcon, he's fine. He's cool. I can deal with the Falcon. But at the same time, it's but you don't have. I mean, I think the Hulk will be back. The Hulk has to be back. I don't see why not.
They still haven't given the Hulk a standalone movie. I mean, they did. They're not
going to. It's because of the fact that it didn't do too well. I don't think they're going to give him a standalone.
I don't understand that. The Hulk is, for me, one of the most compelling characters. He's a werewolf, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's got all the rage built up. I identify with that. Feelings of anger and frustration that you can't control. I'm not saying anything about my job at all. But
I think it's also because I don't really know a lot of the villains and him, and I guess the other movies didn't do so well. There have been 3, or 3 or 2? There's
There's been 2 Hulk movies.
2 Hulk movies. Okay, sorry, I thought it was 3. For some reason,
There was
I thought
the
it was
Ang
3.
Lee one, and then there was the one with Ed Norton.
Okay, so there's only been 2 Hulk movies, and they did okay. I mean, the one with Ed Norton.
Bana was the first one.
Yeah. I didn't ever watch the Ang Lee one, but the Ed Norton one was good. But
it's not really as bad as people say.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where people were like, "Let's jump on board and pile on this one."
Yeah,
it's not the worst movie in the world.
So yeah, I know. God, I'm not thinking up of something that we need to talk about other than the whole upcoming thing of the next Avengers. But there's okay. Oh yeah, I really enjoyed all the dream sequence. I think we talked about the dream sequences for everybody.
I think that this might play into the other thing that I wanted to talk about too, which is Scarlet Witch's power. But go on.
But yeah, Scarlet Witch, basically she's able to bring in the worst fears of everybody. And some people complain because we didn't see the Hulks, but we saw everyone else's worst fear. Like you saw Captain America not being able to have his last dance with.
They specifically enumerated the Hulk's worst fear 50 times in this movie. Did you really need him to have a dream sequence?
Yeah, I don't think you need to have a dream sequence hulking out, but yeah, you saw Black Widow with seeing her past as being raised in the assassin school. And who else is there? I mean, Tony Stark's you saw Tony Stark's in the beginning, where basically he was the reason why everyone died. He didn't want that to happen. And then of course Thor's, where he basically is the reason why everyone dies too or goes to hell. So that was interesting. Is there anyone else's that I might have missed? Can't think of anything.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because she didn't do it to Hawkeye.
Oh, she didn't do it to Huck. Yeah, because he said, I tried the brain control thing or the mind control thing last movie, which is what I wanted to talk about. They need to retire that particular trope.
Oh,
mind control? Yeah, it's overplayed. It's the laziest excuse for screwing with people's minds. They should try a little bit harder and write about emotional manipulation, not just, we're going to make you see and feel and hear things that aren't really there.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll show her anymore doing that, because her other power is what?
Psychokinesis and everything, right? Everything that entails.
Yeah, which is
kind of vaguely defined in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I did really like one scene that they showed her, though, and I think it might have been the very first time that they showed her using her powers, where they did kind of this horror movie thing, where she was walking backwards. It looked like it was filmed backwards with she went backward through the door and the door closed after her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I liked that part. I thought that was kind of a spooky take on the whole magical powers bit.
Yeah, I'll be interesting to see how she develops as a character, but still mad about Quicksilver. And I have a feeling, I mean, they could bring him back, they can't, but
I don't see a need to. Yeah. That's the thing. Also, his power is a little bit convenient.
Yeah, one thing too is you didn't really see him eating. How come he wasn't eating?
Well, we know from The Physics of Superheroes. Mm-hmm. Did you ever read that book?
No.
It's very funny. There's a lot of math involved in it because it was written by a physics professor, if memory serves, to teach his college courses. If you want to learn physics, let's just put it into the comic book universe. But he talks about the Flash, how many hot dogs a day or how many hamburgers, I don't remember which exactly, but how much a day would the Flash need to eat in order to run as much as he does, as fast as he does?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you didn't see him eating.
Yeah. You saw him eat one piece of candy. That's about it.
We know energy's got to come from somewhere.
It has to come from somewhere. That's why I was like, huh.
But yeah, the Flash is really a convenient character because he's one of the most powerful characters in the entire Justice League. Quicksilver is just a Flash knockoff. That's why I'm talking about the Flash. But he basically can't be killed. If you can run faster than a bullet, you're never going to get hit by a bullet, which is why I think you're saying that Quicksilver's death is a little bit of BS.
Yeah, it's complete and utter bullshit. He's not dead. Not just me.
Want to talk about that mid-credits sequence?
Yes.
So Josh Brolin comes strolling in, or at least somebody with Josh Brolin's uncredited voice, and says, "Fine, I'll do it myself," and reaches for the Infinity Gauntlet. Mm-hmm. This is a tale that you've not read, isn't it?
No.
Have you actually gone back to the comic source?
No, I don't know anything about this other than Thanos wants to go for this, and the thing about the first Avengers after the first credit sequence is, to to challenge humans is to court death, and apparently Thanos wants to try to take over death or something like that.
Okay, let me give you the rundown on death. Thanos is an eternal. He's basically a space god.
Okay.
And there's lots of space gods, and one of them is Lady Death. It's the corporeal incarnation of death itself.
Mm-hmm.
She's apparently smoking hot. Thanos falls in love with her. They have a forbidden romance. But his whole thing is that he wants to please her, and his way to do that is to kill as many things as possible. That's how he gets his rocks on.
Okay. Interesting.
Actually, I had to go back and remind myself, because I was thinking halfway through this movie, wait a minute. Okay, if Thanos is pulling all the strings, what is it that he wants again?
Yeah.
Like, what's his motivation again?
Because you actually saw that. Well, we didn't talk about this. The reason why Stellan Skarsgård was in this movie was to also help Thor find that really weird mirror pool thing, which I had no idea about. That kind of came out of nowhere.
I didn't know that one either.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But it was interesting seeing, so for Thor to get his vision, to figure out what his vision was about his dream and his fear, to see that the stones are being brought together. He knows that someone's pulling the strings. He knows that there's something else out there. And like the fact that all of these Infinity Stones are popping up is not a coincidence. Something is going to happen.
Yeah, he outright made that comment at the end, didn't he?
Yeah, so that's very interesting. So yeah, we already have all 4 of them now. And I'm like, how are they going to get it from the Vision? Is he going to die? Because obviously, somehow, in some way, they're all 4 of them are going to get together somehow.
It doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure this out. I mean, it's going to come down to a fight between Thanos and the Vision.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Or maybe Thanos will command the Vision if he has all of the rest of the stones. Maybe he'll have power over the final stone. I don't know. Yeah. There's a couple of different ways it could go, I suppose.
That's true. But yes, it's going to be interesting. I'm actually looking forward to this, see how it plays out and see who else is going to be in it.
Some interesting things about that gauntlet, though. When Thanos reaches for it, it doesn't have any of the stones in it.
Obviously.
Of course. He hasn't managed to get any of them through all the Marvel movies yet. But the first time that we see the gauntlet for a half a second is in Odin's Keep, right? It's in Odin's safe room, his treasure room.
I didn't see it there.
It's there for a half a second. It has what looks to be all of the gems, but it's the other gauntlet.
There's 2 gauntlets.
They come in pairs, right? Gloves for each hand.
Yeah, of course. That's good job. Good way. Okay, I'm Googling this. You're right. The Infinity Gauntlet is there. Good job, Google. Thank you.
You really only see it for half a second. So it might have just been some prop guy throwing it in and being like, yep, I'm a legend now. I've thrown in this reference.
No, I think it was canon. It was there on purpose. But yeah, it's there.
What I'm kind of hoping is that we see Odin enter the fight at some point, which I don't know how that would work since Loki has apparently supplanted him.
Well, if anything, that'll definitely be revealed in the next Thor movie. That'll be taken care of. You'll definitely have to see Odin.
You liked the last Thor movie, if I recall correctly.
Yes, it's very enjoyable. I liked it.
We talked about it, right? It's the Dark Elves.
Yeah, the Dark Elves.
Yeah. Thor 2, the Dark Elves.
Space Elves, yeah.
Space Elves, that's what it was. That's right. Laser-wielding Space Elves. Are you looking forward to the next one then?
Yes, I absolutely am, because it'll be interesting to see how he figures out that Loki is currently playing his father and how he figures that out. And there's obviously just issues happening, and I don't know, but definitely something. I mean, I do like Loki, but I'm actually okay with not seeing any more Loki, but we're definitely going to see him. But
there's no way not to see him, I think, based on the reveal at the end of, what was it? It was Thor 2, right?
Yeah, Thor 2. We're going to see. He's definitely going to be a big part of the next Thor movie, but I think after that, I'd be okay with not seeing him just because fans want to see him. I'm like, move the story along. He can't always be the same reoccurring bad guy.
There are some things in the comics, though, to suggest that he'll be a big player, a very big player moving forward.
Okay.
I mean, not the new comics, the old chronology.
Oh, whatever. As long as they don't just do it for fan service, I'd be okay. I'd be okay with that.
I think that they'd be stupid not to do it for fan service. I mean, really? What's his name?
Tom Hiddleston.
Thank you. I couldn't remember the first name. All I could think of was I kept on wanting to say Chris Hiddleston. That was definitely wrong. But Tom Hiddleston has become a fan favorite.
He has.
I've heard tell that every time he walks on stage at Comic-Con or something like that, he gets the biggest cheer.
It doesn't surprise me.
He's a good actor. He brought a lot of character to his character, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Well, either way, I'm a whatever. I don't care. I don't. There's some fan service stuff that I'm actually okay with not seeing anymore. Just get with this. I want to know the story. It's like me with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I want to see the story. No more fan service. Story.
I think that I've squeezed everything out of Avengers 2 that I wanted to say. How about you?
I probably have something that I forgot, but I'm okay. We talked a lot about it, and more than enough to definitely think.
I think this is the longest episode we've ever done.
Yeah. Well, longest episode I ever done was 2 hours long, and I was talking about Super Bowl 48 with Omar. I can't read that one.
All right. So I think it's time to sign off. Let's just quick give on a scale from 1 to 10. You said that you were at a 7.5 coming out of the movie?
7.5 coming out of it. It's definitely not my top Marvel movie. If anything, I'm trying to watch all the Marvel movies again so I can make a list. But definitely number 1 is Captain America 2.
I hate trying to quantify reviews in numbers because there's no way to make something qualitative quantitative. But if you've absolutely got to, I think that 7.5 is an okay place to put it.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just so we should definitely talk about a list down the road. What is your list of current Marvel movies? But yeah, just it's really hard to think about because more and more it's I really like Thor. I really like the. They all had very good merits on its own. But if anything, that tells you that the people behind this are doing a great job at making an entire set of movies way more than any trilogy, way more, that they are all enjoyable and can be watched over and over again, and they all coincide with each other. So
it's funny watching every other intellectual property scramble now to try to have an expanded universe that's all
interconnected. They can't do it. You really cannot. A lot of people they're going to fail. I'm sorry, DC's going to fail. I'm calling it. I mean, it'd be cool if they did do well on it, but they're gonna fail. With that much money put into it, that much money behind it in Paramount and Disney, you need to put tons of money, tons of good casting, and tons of people who are passionate about these comics behind the helm. And I don't think Warner Brothers DC has it.
Stop doing that. You know how I feel about DC.
I know you feel, but you know it's true. You know it's true. So Marvel, Disney has raised the bar so high that to be able to do that is going to be almost fairly difficult or near impossible.
And that's a good place to end it. Thank you very much, Ro.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see everybody next week on the Atomic Trivia War 9000, where we're going to talk about what we expect or want to see in the Age of Ultron, because we're bad at time and math.
We so are.
I am. I'll take full credit. You don't have to worry about it.
Later, listeners.
I'll take the bullet just like Quicksilver.
Oh, so sad. So sad. Okay, laters.